he was a very competent individual building his business, right? He was very smart, intelligent, knew the technology, how to build product, teams, all these things, get sales, whatever it was. But the warmth wasn't there as well, it seems like, right? Like the trustworthy, charisma, warmth, confidence.
Yes, he undersignaled every step of the way. So he undersignaled warmth, he undersignaled competence, and then was trying to dial up competence. And you hear in the rest of the pitch, he's
trying to build it back up. He's like, but we've done this, and look, we've got this technology.
And this money, and then this. And so he cannot get it back. He could not get it back. And so I think I watched that pitch and I break it down in the book of what happened to this brilliant guy who had one bad day. And I think that if he scripted those answers, he prepared for that pitch, and he had really good verbal answers. There was even a couple times where I think this thing happens for people who over-rehearse. So if you have an interview or a presentation, what do? You rehearse it, right? You practice the perfect answer. That can get in your way, though, because if you practice the perfect answer, this is exactly what happened to Simonov, and very highly intelligent people do this. He would hear a question from a shark, usually a challenging question, because they were like really pushing him on the deal, and they didn't believe him. No one believed him. They all thought, oh no, it's too crowded of a market, it will never work. They literally said that to him. Okay, I have Ring on my front door. Right. And they literally said never. He could not get them to believe him, because what would happen was they would ask him a question, he would start to answer it organically, and then he would switch into his rehearsed answer.
Oh, yeah.
So you would hear, we do have market track. Our market traction has been wonderful. In fact, in the last 5 years, we've done X numbers, and you would be like, who is this robot?
Yeah, just say what's on your heart. Yeah, just say it organically.
Right, and so I think you can be the smartest person in the world, you can have the best ideas, but if you don't share them right, you're not helping people help you. And so it drives me crazy when smart people can't get their ideas heard, and that pitch crushed me. I felt so bad for him, and he made it. He's okay now, right? He's doing really well.
And then he was like a guest shark or whatever,
Okay, and what's amazing is when you watch him walk into the tank as a shark, you can see the difference. You can feel the difference.
The confidence,
my, he walks into the tank. He walks down the hallway, right? He walks down the hallway. He's smiling. He gestures, hey, everyone, good to see you. He shakes hands. He does all the things he didn't do in that original pitch. And you can see the difference. And he's the same person, same ideas, similar suits, yet he looks like a different person.
Fascinating. It's not about what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
How you present yourself and your words. And your words? No.
And no.
Just kidding. I'm curious about this. There's a big topic out there right now. I just did a recent interview with Dr. Ramani, who is a therapist, psychologist, talking about narcissism a lot today.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me the difference between charisma and narcissism? And how can you spot when someone is actually warm and caring and charismatic versus someone who uses the skills or the tools of charisma in their narcissistic approach towards manipulating, controlling, and getting what they want in life?
So this is my biggest fear with this book. This is my single biggest fear, and it was an issue for me when I first started writing it. Is I'm gonna be honest, you can use this book for manipulation.
Yeah, of course.
And that scares me.
And when a smart person who's narcissistic is going to study everything and then start using it.
It scares me.
So how can you tell the difference, the subtle cues? These are very subtle now.
Very subtle, yeah. So we're talking about big to subtle, right? There's like a range of them. So first it is my biggest fear with this book that people do not have the right intentions. And my hope is that we can actually use these powers for good and not evil. That is the number one thing is you can. You want to. Here's the good news. There are certain cues that we cannot control. And if you have bad intentions, they will leak. So I call these danger zone cues. So in the book I talk about there's 4 different types of cues. There's highly warm, nonverbal, verbal, and vocal. So these are things that make you highly warm, highly trustworthy, highly likable. There's highly competent cues, verbal, nonverbal, and vocal. And then there's charismatic, the ones that are just knock it out of the park. Like they're just great. And the last one is danger zone cues. Danger zone cues are the cues that get us into trouble. They're the cues that liars use.
Ooh.
They're the way that we leak guilt and shame. Actually, shame is not a bad thing. It's only when you have guilt that you've done something wrong. So in the danger zone, it is very hard to inhibit those cues. So I teach them because I want people to be able to spot them.
Okay. What are those cues?
Okay, so there's a bunch, and let's talk about as many as we can. So
and this might be someone who's very successful, someone who's accomplished a lot potentially, someone that seems very credible, someone that could be in a power position, owning
Yes.
a business or having influence online or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Extremely successful. They could be successful. They could
Yeah.
seem credible, trustworthy,
Yes.
but might be super narcissistic underneath.
Yes, so there's a couple danger zone cues that we can control, which a manipulative person could inhibit, right? So, for example, one that I found that I talk about in the book is Lance Armstrong. So, Lance Armstrong, for those who don't know, spoiler alert, Lance Armstrong was doping. So, if you haven't, someone was like, there was spoilers in the book. And I was like, you haven't heard of that news yet? I also talk about Britney Spears in the book because there's some really interesting cues on her, which I think why we're worried about her, why her fans worry. She shows a lot of danger zone cues.
Yes.
So Lance Armstrong, in one of his early interviews on Larry King Live, he's asked about doping. And he does what's called a lip purse. So a lip purse is, okay, when we push our lips into a flat line, we mash our lips together. That is a universal withholding gesture. So when we're literally trying to hold something in or hold something back, or we don't like what's being said or heard, we go. And so you'll notice that when someone has been asked something they don't like, when someone had to lie, a lot of the time, so we did a massive experiment in our lab where we asked people to send in videos of themselves lying. Actually, you play it in the book. It's called Lie to Me. So I have you lie to me, play this lie to me game to diagnose your own tells. It's very important to know your own tells because you should know what your danger zone cues are when you're leaking them. And one of the, you should know those. It's good to know those in the back of your pocket. Do that with your partner, right? You want them to know what those are too. So one thing that we noticed is on lies. That was one of the biggest indicators. So in Lie to Me game, we ask you to do two things. We ask you to tell us an embarrassing story, your most embarrassing story, and then a fake embarrassing story. And we want to see if we can tell the difference. If we cut the clips, can we know which one is the fake one?
Man, that'd be interesting.
Yes, and it's amazing. You see the same danger zone cues over and over again. Right before someone's about to lie and tell their fake embarrassing story, they go, okay, and they lip purse right before they're going to do it. And that's because we don't like lying. Our body knows it's going to get us into trouble. So we're like, stop it, stop it, stop it. And we hold ourselves back. You ask a woman, how much do you weigh? And she'll go, like literally close those lips because no woman wants to talk about how much she weighs. So it's a withholding gesture. And so that's the first thing is you want to look for some of the bigger cues, withholding gestures. Lip purse is one. A sudden distancing behavior. So we also noticed that liars in our lab, they wanted to like get away from the lie, like as if it smelled. So like when they were telling their most embarrassing story, they'd be like leaning in, using gestures. Oh, it was so embarrassing. And remember, embarrassing stories are negative.
Right.
It's not like it's a positive memory. Right. It's like people are like, and they do a shame touch. The universal shame touch is when people touch their fingers to the side of their forehead.
This happened and I'm
oh gosh, I'm so embarrassed.
So they're usually telling the truth when they do like this.
Yes, because they're actually embarrassed, right? So these are all good, like congruent, right? We're seeing embarrassment and shame gesture. We're seeing negative nonverbal and people shaking their head. I can't believe that happened, right? Like they're so upset that happened. We're seeing cringes. We're seeing fear. We're seeing sadness. Congruent, right? Like that's all congruent emotion. On the bad stories, we often see people will lip purse and then they try to get away from it. So they'll say a statement and then, and then, and they're literally like as far away, I hope I'm not messing up my audio, they're as far away from the lie as they can possibly get. They're leaning back. They'll sometimes literally lean their head back in the chair. And that's because physically we want to distance ourselves from things we don't like. So we're looking for lip purses, sudden distancing. And there's a lot of cues that we can't control, right? So blink rate is another one. Eye blocking behavior is liars have higher blink rates.
They blink more.
Yeah, actually in Britney Spears, she had a really interesting interview that I actually break this down on my YouTube channel, so you don't even have to read the book if you want to see it, where I break down the cues in this early interview. This is right before the conservatorship started. So very, very full of cues because it's right before it happened. And she gets asked a very difficult question, and she, all of a sudden, her blink rate goes from a normal rate to a high rate. So she starts to really quickly blink her eyes like this, and that is because when we're really nervous, we literally want to close out stimuli to not see what's happening so we can process what's happening. So blink rate is something that a lot of manipulative people cannot control. In fact, when I share this, people go, oh, I know a very narcissistic, manipulative person who has a very high blink rate.
Interesting.
Because they're literally like trying to block out the lie or the manipulation. And so they'll sound really good, but they're like really like processing a lot. And you're like, why are they blinking so much? And it's because they're trying to process.
Oh my goodness.
So just knowing those cues are not all bad on their own, but it's important to know what those cues look like so you can spot them. And I really think manipulative people will get caught eventually. It is very hard to fake competence. It is very hard to fake warmth. It's hard to keep that up. And so for the long game, yes, you can learn a couple of these cues and try to master your way around them. But for the long game, it's really hard. I mean, look at, Theranos, right? So Elizabeth Holmes. So spoiler alert, Theranos did not go well. I feel like I always have to say that. So one of her interesting cues is, I don't know if you've ever seen her talk. She uses a really deep voice, like fakely deep, like down here. And people used to say, like, is that real? It's because she read in some cue book, it wasn't mine because my book wasn't out then, thank goodness. She read in some book that having a lower tone of voice makes you more competent. And that is true. Research has found that people who use the lower end of their natural voice tone are seen as competent. That's for both men and women. So you have a very deep voice and it serves you really well. When I'm talking right now, I'm trying to use the lowest end of my natural register. When I'm talking to my toddler. Right. When I'm talking to my toddler, I'm much more up here. Hey baby, how are you? But if I were to do my entire interview like this, it would drive you crazy. Right.
You wouldn't feel competent.
No, and it wouldn't, and people would go, I can't, I'm not taking her, take her seriously. So she read that study, obviously.
And went an octave lower.
There you go. And went an octave lower. So it wasn't her natural voice tone, it was like one step lower than her voice tone. So she was always talking like this. And when she did an interview, she would talk like this, and you would hear that this just doesn't sound natural. And part of your spidey sense would be like, why is she talking so low? It sounds really unnatural. And it came out that when she was drunk, her employees noticed that she went back into her natural register.
Wow.
So there are cues that they will eventually break.
Don't drink alcohol. No,
and that is the point of this story. Don't drink alcohol.
Or you're going to get caught.
So like you can't keep it up for that long.
Right.
It is that she was faking that cue, we think.
I think you're also your body is out of integrity. Like the more you're keeping back something, you're telling a slight lie or whatever. I mean, I felt this from the past because I've been out of integrity in my life at different times, from different stages of childhood to adulthood, right? For little white lies to bigger stuff, hiding from my parents or whatever it is.
They feel bad.
So you're like, ugh, like something inside of you feels off, right? And then you got to like keep the lie up, and you're like, eventually you're going to explode, or you're going to have a heart attack, or
it's gonna
something.
Leak.
Yeah,
it's going to leak.
It's going to leak.
Like
leaking cues.
You leak those cues, and like those are the cues that we're looking for. Like I want you to be on the lookout for them, because when something feels bad, like something feels bad, even just then when you were saying it felt bad, your voice tone changed.
Right.
Just then.
Yeah.
Because when you think about, think about seeing a toxic person, and I know that people probably have toxic people in their lives, and this is why toxic people are so challenging, because toxic people put us out of integrity. Toxic people force us to use warm cues where we don't feel like it. Now we can do it.
What do you mean? We got to be nice to them or something?
Yeah. So like if you have a toxic person, and this is the thorn in I think our work is I want everyone to be their best selves. I want them to show up as their warmest, most competent self. But what if you have a toxic person? How do you do that authentically? And this is what's so hard about toxic people. You have a colleague or a coworker or a family member that you don't like, right? And you have to break out the fake warmth cues. Oh, hi, how are you? Right? And so what do? We fake smile, right? So, oh, it's so good to see you. Right?
And like, no,
it doesn't look like it, right?
Yeah.
Or we say, oh yeah, so that sounds good, congratulations. Right?
Now your LA roots are coming back to you.
And that's why toxic people challenge us, is because they come into our lives. We know we're supposed to be warm. And so we try to force that warm sound, and it comes out sort of forced, and then it makes us feel bad, and then we're trying to overcompensate for it. And so you know what the antidote here is? Not learning more fake warmth cues. It's time to get rid of toxic people. I think that's like the side effect of the book, is like,
don't keep them around.
Don't keep those people around, because it will leak. And so set boundaries around them.
So what do you mean it will leak? Like your integrity will leak because you're constantly trying to be nice, but you're actually out of integrity because you don't want to be.
Right.
Is that right?
Right. That's exactly right.
So your body is like, I'm doing something that's not authentic to me because I feel like I have to with this person.
That's right.
And the more frequently you do that, you feel out of integrity with yourself.
Yep. Exactly.
With yourself?
With yourself. So that was a question you were asking me. And I'm like, yes, it was. Yes. That was perfect, because you were asking a question I knew. Yes. Is if you allow toxic people to come into your life, especially without boundaries, we have to have some of those people we deal with.
Yeah,
but if you don't have boundaries around them, they come into your life and you have to fake niceness. And that feels really bad.
What happens if, let's just say there's a person you don't like.
Yeah.
Let's just say, maybe they're not toxic. There's someone you don't like, and you don't like being nice to because you feel like, why am I I just don't Nothing wrong with them. There's not my person. Yeah.
Totally.
Let's say you're in a work environment.
Yeah.
And you're at a company, got 50, 100 employees that you're working with, you're on a team with, and you're just, okay, I'm here.
Yeah.
Is it better to be inauthentic and lie and act nice around this person? Friendly, fake, how are you, interested, even though you've like been around them for 6 months or a year and you realize you really don't like them? Or is it better to go right up to the person after 6 months and say, you know what, I just want to be completely honest and not fake with you because I feel like I've been fake. That I don't connect with you, I don't like you, I think you're out of integrity, I think you're inauthentic, and maybe I'm being judgmental, but I'd rather be honest with you and fake nice to you.
Okay, that's A and B. Can I give a C?
Sure.
Okay, so I don't believe in fake it till you make it. So I try not to give like fake it. I don't roll that way. Like I just think it's exhausting. I think it's gonna leak. The C option here is to not fake warmth, but is to double down on competence. So if you are working with someone that you don't like, the one thing that you do have to do is get stuff done with them, right? You have to master your tasks, you have to be on it, you have to be responsive to emails. So that is something that you can be authentic about because to do your job, you have to be able to get along with them in a very professional setting. So I would skip all the fake warmth stuff.
Go right into competence.
Yeah, right, like stick with where you're authentic, which is like, I don't need to hear about your weekend. I don't need to go to happy hour with you.
Right.
I don't need a fake sitting with you for coffee, but you know what? We can get stuff done. You know what?
So
we align on goals.
Create boundaries around the, hey, let's go have coffee.
Actually,
no,
I'm
busy.
so busy.
Yeah.
I'm so busy today, but you know what? Let's do a brainstorm session tomorrow at the end of the day so we can really kick off.
Yeah. So get back to like the mission on the
Competence.
task on hand, the competence. And maybe you've just got to be like, okay, this is someone where, 20 seconds a day, I've got to be around someone that's trying to be fake, la-di-da-di with everyone, and I'll just wait.
I'm going to get stuff done.
And then I'll move on to the next thing.
That's it.
Gotcha.
Exactly. Because then at least you're focusing on where you can be authentic. And also that's, even if that were to come up, you could honestly say that kind of conversation could be, listen, like, I'm not really into like, connecting at work. I'm more about getting it done. I want to get home to my kids and my family. I hope that's okay with you. When we're together, if it's all right, I might skip lunch and just have us like, work it out and be really efficient.
Yeah, that's good.
I really appreciate how efficient you are because it allows me to get home to my kids faster. Right? Like that's authentic. So what can you appreciate about them that's competent?
Yes.
What can you highlight about them that's competent? And that's
What
a
if you
weird
don't
way to
feel
work.
like they're warm or competent? You're like, this person on a team is just, that they can't get anything done, they're not smart, and they have fake attitude around me all day.
I mean, this depends on how you feel, but I would say deal with it. Like go to your boss.
Right, and say, hey,
Look,
can you put me on a different team? Or something?
Yeah. You say like, I don't know how I can work with this person. I don't want to be unauthentic, but I'm telling you that we're not getting stuff done and they are causing issues on the team. Like, I don't like to ignore that stuff. Like, you can hope it gets better, but ask for help. If you have someone on your team or someone in your life who is not warm nor competent and doesn't treat you with warmth or competence, either get them out of your life, set a boundary, or get help.
Give them like
don't
an
live
improvement
with
plan
it.
or something, yeah.
Yeah, don't live with it. Life is too short to feel fakely competent or fake warmth.
Right. What's been the, I think I asked you this last time, what's been the charisma strategy?
Yeah.
If you want to call it strategy.
You weren't sure about that. You weren't sure about
I don't know
that.
what the word is right, but what is the charisma or social cue that you've
Yeah.
learned in the last 6 months that has brought some new attention to your life where you said, I wasn't aware of that fully, but now the research is showing that when someone does this, it improves this.
There's a new cue that I snuck into the book in the very last draft because I just learned it. And this is actually brought to me by a couple of my male readers. And I'm so curious. Okay, do you agree with this, Lewis? Okay, here's what they said. So in the book, I had a whole section on nodding. So nodding, affirmative nods upside down, right?
I nod all the time.
Yes, you're a nodder. It's really high warmth. We love it. We love
is it
nodding.
good? So-
Yes, nodding is great because vertical nods, and by the way, this is different in certain cultures where they nod
Yes,
sideways.
sideways.
That's
There it
different.
goes.
Okay, so just vertical nodding in Western cultures is agreement. It's yes. In fact, research has found that when you nod at me slowly, I speak 3 to 4 times longer.
That's cool.
That's why you're a good interviewer, is because you'll nod and be like, keep going,
Yeah.
keep going, keep
I'm
going.
I'm just like a bobblehead. I'm just kind of like, yeah, this is good. Like a very slow, like I'll pause
Slow.
and be like, okay, cool.
Okay, well, actually, you're right. Slow nodding is tell me more. Fast nodding is finish up.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
yeah,
got it.
yeah.
I got it. Right. Okay, so that's the difference there. If you want someone to wrap up in a meeting, give them a 1, 2, 3 triple nod, like I got it. If you want them to keep going, an introvert,
Yes.
Okay, so that's the difference. That's number one. So I shared about this, I taught it, and then a couple of my male readers said to me, Vanessa, we think that there is a secret nonverbal cue between guys. Now, I don't know what this cue is. Here's what they said.
Okay.
If you know a guy and you're trying to acknowledge him guy to guy, you nod up.
Yeah.
Good to see you. It's literally like an open gesture, you're open.
Amen.
If you don't know a guy, but you're trying to acknowledge his presence, hey, good to see you.
Oh, wow, that's so true.
Is it true?
That's so true. Yeah, it's like, oh, good to see you. Yeah. Hey,
Get acknowledged.
good to see you.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Okay.
Yeah, it's so true.
Okay. So I snuck it into the book last minute.
That's fascinating. I wonder, is that like biology? Is
Here's
that
here's why
social?
I think.
Like,
okay, here's my theory on this. As soon as I heard this, I was like, and I started looking. I started watching men. I asked my husband, I asked my guy friends. And this is why I think it happens. When we know someone, we expose our jugular. So this is a very vulnerable part of our body. And we're saying, I know you, I trust you. Look, I'm acknowledging you, and I feel trustworthy.
Yes.
When you don't know someone, but you want to show respect, you nod down to protect your jugular. I don't know you, but I see you. I got you.
I got you. I'm here for you, kind of. Yeah,
you can't see my jugular, but I'm here for you.
I'm going to protect myself,
but I see
I'm
you.
here for you, bro. What's up?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's where it comes from. Is
That
it's like
makes sense.
Do I know you or do I not know you? So in that
think
sense,
that makes sense.
This is a high warmth cue. Hey, buddy, what's up? Right? It's high warmth. You're showing your jugular. This is a high competence cue. Hello. Good to see you. I look ridiculous because I don't do that. Right? I'm like, hi, So I think that was so surprising
That's
to me
interesting.
because there's so much more I think to be done. Like I list 96 cues in the book, right? That's just the start. I think we're discovering more and more. I think that's where like the excitement comes in. So that was the new one.
That's so cool. And what are the 3 most powerful cues, body language cues of leaders?
Okay, so this is the competence area of the spectrum, right? So when we talk about charisma, we talk about warmth, competence, charisma, and danger. Okay, so 3 body languages of leaders. The example that I give that I really like to teach from is the Nixon-Kennedy presidential debate.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of this historical debate? We were not around for
Yes.
this debate, so I'd be shocked if you'd seen it.
So we want to be in the high,
there you go.
the high charisma.
There you go. Yes,
We want to be
sweet
doing
spot.
those cues all the time.
That's right. We want to be in the star. So right now you're talking about competence. You just asked me about leaders. So leaders typically are high competence and they can go into warmth when they want to.
High competence and charisma.
Right.
Or they're high competence and high warmth.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
Right. So highly competent cues, if you know that you're warm and you need to dial up competence to hit the sweet spot, these are some cues that will help you.
Give it to
And my favorite is from the Nixon-Kennedy presidential debate. So have you heard about this debate before? It's kind of...
Remind me.
Okay.
Yes.
You're like, actually, yes, I watched it on the History Channel last night.
Wasn't, I mean, maybe you mentioned this before, but isn't one of them was angry or something? I can't remember what happened, but...
So this is why I like this story, is because it created a puzzle. And I like puzzles. So here's what happened. During this part in U.S. history, Nixon and Kennedy were running for president, and about half the population watched the presidential debate on television, and about half the population listened to the debate on the radio. Everyone who watched the debate was sure that Kennedy won, and everyone who listened to the debate was sure that Nixon won.
Wow.
And it was the first time where there was a discrepancy between the winners, the perceived winners.
Because one sounded competent, the other one looked warm.
One sounded like a leader and one looked like a leader.
Ooh, you match them together, that's a sweet spot.
That's the star.
Okay.
That's the star, exactly.
So one sounded like a leader.
So Nixon sounded like a leader. He had really good vocal power, but he looked like a loser. And I hate to use that word, but he himself said in his memoirs, he believes he lost that entire presidential election based on the first few seconds of that debate. First few seconds. He himself said that.
What happened?
Okay.
So it was kind of like the Shark Tank guy trying to buy back competence and warmth at the same time.
He gave away his competence in the first few seconds of the debate. So anyone who saw it went, oh, no. This guy is not a winner. And this was before they even spoke. So in the first 30 seconds of the debate, neither of them speak. You see them on camera. And if you were watching, you saw, wow, Nixon looks so weak. And here's why. What most people don't know is that Nixon had just injured his knee on the campaign trail, and he'd been in the hospital for the week. So he came in with a bandaged knee and a fever. Kennedy had been tanning.
Yeah, he was
like
a nice suit and everything.
He was ready to go. And also, a kind of funny thing is the debate was in black and white, and Nixon's suit was too brown. It blended into the background. So I talk about color psychology at the very end of the book, colors, and so that was an interesting one that he didn't pop as much on the black and white. Okay, So he shows up, and he's sitting in what's called the runner's stance. The runner's stance is when someone, so runners, before they win a race, they like go into the crunch position, one leg back. We know this as a readiness position. Universally across cultures, if someone's about to run away from us, they will get into this position, right? Like they're literally about to run away. It's why sprinters start a race like that. Well, Nixon spent the first 30 seconds of the debate in that position.
Because of his knee.
Because of his knee.
He was in pain. He was trying to like just...
He was nursing it.
Yeah.
But it made it look like he was about to run out on us. That's, from just a quick nonverbal perspective, the first impression was, where's he going? Even though people didn't consciously realize it, he looked not planted. And we don't like leaders who aren't going to stay with us. Whereas Kennedy, on the other hand, he had a really nice, relaxed cross, and he used what's called humility hands. Research calls it humility hands. Humility hands are when your hands are on your leg and they're resting. Humility, humble. So he looked relaxed, calm, here to stay, not tense at all.
I'm not in a rush, I'm here.
I'm here. I'm your leader. Right? Yeah. So he looked, quote unquote, presidential. So first, the runner stance. Second is, and this is in the first 10 seconds of the debate. They were sitting. They were sitting next to each other.
They weren't on a podium.
No. So here's your first snapshot of the debate. And you see Kennedy, very humility hands, relaxed, sitting tall. And then you see Nixon, who's like gripping the chair arm, ready to leave. And we see these cues, and people already made their decision. But people who were listening didn't see any of that.
Right, they heard the voice.
Interesting. And so Nixon lost the debate to Kennedy. He lost the election to Kennedy. And he said in his memoirs, that's why, is because of the cues I sent. And so for leaders, here's what we want to think about. One is relaxed, here to stay. So the more you can settle into your place, the distance, this is such a weird measurement. I want to see the biggest distance between your earlobe and your shoulder.
Not like this.
Yes. Because why? When we are confident, when we are winners, we take up as much space as possible, right? We broaden our shoulders, we tilt our head towards the sky. Winners feel pride. So we look at the distance between someone's ear and shoulder, and we're like, oh, she looks confident. When someone hops on a video call, this is the mistake I see. Hi, everyone. Shoulders pinched up towards ears.
Wow.
And we wonder why people aren't taking us seriously. We wonder why people are interrupting us. Is because this distance, if I'm like this, hey everyone, happy Monday.
Well, your tonality as well, but yeah.
Right? Like if I start a video call like this. So today we're going to talk about some updates, and I'm going to go over some different slides with you. And we're going to wait a few minutes while people log on. Oh my.